Santa ki seva.
Prema dari mandira para avo.
Prema dari mandira para avo.
Sundara sukudaleva.
Ananda mangala karo arati. Hari Guru Santa ki seva. Ananda mangala karo arati. Hari Guru Santa ki seva.
Mere angane tulasi nikyaro.
Mere angane tulasi nikyaro.
Shale gram ki seva. Ananda mangala karo arati.
Hari Guru Santa ki seva. Ananda mangala karo arati. Hari Guru Santa ki seva.
Hara sata tirata Guru ji ke charan mein.
Hara sata tirata Guru ji ke charan mein.
Mata pita ki seva.
Ananda mangala karo arati. Hari Guru Santa ki seva. Ananda mangala karo arati. Hari Guru Santa ki seva.
Santa mile to mahasukha pave.
Santa mile to mahasukha pave.
Guru ji mile to
meva. Ananda mangala karo arati. Hari Guru Santa ki seva. Ananda mangala karo arati. Hari Guru Santa ki seva.
kahe pritam tere bhakta jano ke.
Kahe pritam tere bhakta jano ke.
Har ek jan hari
seva. Ananda mangala karo arati. Hari Guru Santa ki seva. Ananda mangala karo arati. Hari Guru Santa ki seva.
Jaya Jaya Gurudeva Kripa Sindhunatha.
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 Jai Jai Shri Vishwananda Priya Prananatha.
Jai Jai Shri Vishwananda Priya Prananatha.
Bolo Jai Jai Shri Vishwananda Priya Prananatha.
Jai Jai Shri Vishwananda Priya Prananatha.
Bolo Jaya Jaya Gurudeva Karuna Sagara.
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 Jai Jai Shri Vishwananda Prema Avatara.
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 Jai Jai Shri Vishwananda Prema Avatara. Om Shanti 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 Shri Guru Pyo Namaha Hare. प्रेम से बोलो श्री लक्ष्मी नारायण भगवान की
जय।
श्री भूत प्रदेश नाथ नृसिंह भगवान की
जय।
प्रेम से बोलो श्री राधा कृष्ण कन्हैया लाल की श्री मावता कृपा जी की श्री रमनोजाचार्य की प्रेम से बोलो सद्गुरुदेव श्री स्वामी विश्वानंद महाप्रभु की
जय।
Aknarantimirandasya gnananjana shalakaya chakshurunmilitam yena tasme Shri Gurave Namaha. Jai Gurudev, everybody. So this evening's Divya Prabandham verse is taken from Book 2, verse 992. It goes like this. The Lord of the gods of the sky with a shining discus, who cut off the screaming Suparnaka's nose and ears with a sharp sword, and carried Govardhana mountain to protect the cows and the cowherds, stopping The roaring storm sent by Indra stays in beautiful Salika Karamam, surrounded with ponds. O heart, let us go there and worship him. So I found it interesting that Tirumangai Alvar, he is very connected with the Divyadeshams, the sacred places to the Sri Vaishnavas. So as you know, we have 108 in total Divyadeshams. And he's dedicating 10 of these verses in worship to the 106th Divyadesham. So he calls it Salaka Kirimam. So it's actually also known as let me just find it. Muktinath. So up there, this 106th Divyadesham is actually situated in Nepal, and it's a very, very sacred place. Tirumangal Alvar, he was on tour through India. He didn't actually manage to make it to that destination, to that temple. And so he composed these group of 10 verses from the nearest place. Now near to this temple, Muktinath, as it's also called, you have a very sacred river called the Gandaki River. And it's the source of where found the source of the saligrams, essentially. And as you know, the saligrams are a manifestation of the Lord himself. So within this river, the Gandaki River, can be found different, let's say, manifestations of the Lord. You can be found white saligrams, and they're considered to be Vasudeva, black as Vishnu, green as Narayana, and blue as Krishna. You also find gold and yellow and reddish ones, or these are often considered to be Narasimha. So both Hindus and Buddhists, they visit this temple. It's considered to be extremely holy. And it's located in the Muktinath Valley, and it's one of the world's highest temples. And it's also known as Mukti Kshetra because it's apparently a place where one can attain mukti, liberation. So within Nepal, as you have in India, you also have a Chardham. You have, let's say, 4 places where many Hindus go to visit. And they try and at least undertake this pilgrimage at least once in their life, if they can. The same in Nepal. Many Hindus who live there, they also go to Muktinath. So they go seeking for liberation. And it's very, very special, auspicious. Of course, it's a temple dedicated to the Lord. They have also many saligrams there. But one of the other aspects is that makes this temple completely unique is that it has 108 springs. So there's 108 little springs that arise at that temple. And like we did when we went to India back in 2019, many of the residents went to Rameshwaram, and at that place there's certain tirthas, there's certain wells where you can wash. The same way here in this temple, there's 108 little springs, and when you walk under these springs, tirthas, you can... Fountains, yeah. Yeah, yeah. So by washing yourself in this, it's considered that you can attain liberation. So, and it's also stated, don't know if it's true or not, maybe Guruji knows. Would be nice. It also stated that the fire that burns inside the temple was lit by Lord Brahma himself. Ah, okay. Yes, it's considered very sacred to both the Hindus and the Buddhists. So it's visited by both of the traditions. So in this verse, Tirumangailva says, "The Lord of the gods of the sky, with a shining discus, who cut off the screaming Suparkana's nose and ears with a sharp sword." So during the time of Lord Rama's exile, he was staying in a very beautiful place of the forest called Panchavati. It was a very, very lovely part of the forest. You had many animals there. Lord Rama could hunt easily because there was many animals. The Godavari river flowed very by. And there was a lot of beautiful trees laden with fruit and flowers. So Lakshmana, at that area, he constructed a hut for all of them, for Ram, Sita Devi himself. And they lived there for several years. So as they were staying there one day, passing by, Suparnaka came. Now Suparnaka was the stepsister of Ravana, and she was living in an area nearby there. It's actually a place where Ravana stationed his stepbrothers, Kara and Dushana, and they were present there with a big army. So Suparnaka lived there with her brothers, and often she would go out, she would enjoy walking through the beautiful forest. But she was very cruel by nature, being a demoness. So she delighted in harassing people. This was one of her things she used to like to do. And she was very ugly, but she had the capacity to transform herself into many different aspects, different guises. So she could take whatever form she pleased. So when she saw Sri Rama and Panchavati, she was very taken with him. He was very, very beautiful. He's very handsome, tall, strong, muscular. And she was very taken with him when she saw him. So she came up to him. She disguised herself. She came up to him and she asked him, "Who are you? Why have you come here? For what purpose are you in this place in Panchavati?" And so Sri Ram, he answered according to his nature, and he told her who they were. Suparnaka, she said to Sri Rama, "I have a desire. Please, can you fulfill it? Will you marry me?" And Lord Ram, he started smiling. Of course, he was already married to the love of his life, Sita Devi. And these words were amusing to Ram. He was smiling a little. So he wished to have some fun. So he said to Suparnaka, "I have sworn to have only one wife in my life. Therefore, I cannot have another. Why don't you ask my brother, Lakshmana, to see if he will marry you?" So, of course, she goes over to Lakshmana and she asks him sincerely. He's also very beautiful. Of course, when Suparnaka asks Lakshmana if he would wed her, Lakshmana burst out laughing. He finds it hilarious, very funny. Of course, Lakshmana is not interested at all. Of course, Suparnaka was angered, embarrassed. And she understood that, of course, Ram and his brother Lakshmana were making fun of her. So she said, "You're making a ridicule of me. How dare you? I'll teach you a lesson. All of this trouble is because of this woman here," pointing at Sita Devi. Of course, the embodiment of beauty. And so she decides to rush towards Sita to hurt her. Of course, Lakshmana, not allowing any harm to come to Sita, instantly draw his sword or his knife and rush towards Suparnaka and cut off her nose and her ear. Suddenly, Suparnaka starts screaming horribly with great pain. And she runs off to her brothers. So she goes and she complains to her brothers what happened. These two horrible people having cut off her nose and her ears. The brothers, seeing the suffering of their sister, decide to retaliate. Kara, one of her brothers, says, "Sister, who brought this to you? Tell me at once. I shall dispatch them to the land of death." So Suparnaka informed them everything that happened, where they were living in Panchavati. And so Karna decided to summon all of his generals, his demon army. And he went there to kill Rama. Arriving at Panchavati, they fired a whole array of arrows at Lord Rama. Lord Rama deflected them easily. Before beginning to fight with them, he asked them, "Who are you? Why are you employing weapons here? We adhere to the path of righteousness. Why do you trouble us?" Of course, Kara informed his relationship to Saparnaka. And he said that they are the generals within Ravana's army. So, shortly after that, he says, "How can we let you go unpunished? If you have the strength, fight with us." So, of course, the fight ensues. They had very powerful weapons. But as Rama was fighting with them, drawing his mighty weapons, Rama overcame all of them with his arrows. He fixed 14 arrows, all as powerful as the sun, to his bow and let them fly simultaneously. All the Rakshasas were crushed and, screaming wildly, fell to the ground and died. At such a sight, Suparnaka was stunned. Screaming, she ran to her other brother and reported to him what had happened. Of course, he was furious. He couldn't believe that a mere human being could overpower such formidable Rakshasas. So he says also, "I shall teach him a lesson." He summons his younger brother and the army, and they make haste. They set out with 14,000 soldiers, demons, the army of Rakshasas, with many different incredible weapons, set with one thought in mind: to destroy Lord Rama. Upon the arrival of all the demons, the celestial beings arrived within the heavens. They were looking down to see what would be the outcome. Would righteousness win, or would Adharma win? So Rama put on his armor, he took up his formidable bow, Kodanda, and twanged his bowstring. "May victory favor the virtuous," the celestial said. "May Dharma win." They were apprehensive as Sri Rama was found single-handed against an army of 14,000. Lord Rama had asked Lakshmana to make sure that no harm had come to Sita Devi. So Lakshmana was requested to take them to a distant place, ensuring her safety. The fierce army rushed at Lord Rama. Kara began with 1,000 arrows, all of which he shot together at the same time. The fierce bow from Sri Rama cut them all into pieces. Of course, this enraged all the Rakshasas. The huge army, comprised of horses, elephants, and soldiers, they all surrounded Lord Rama. But he broke all of the arrows that were fired him with his bow. The weapons shot by the Rakshasas fell to the ground broken, even before they was able to reach Lord Rama. Lord Rama, drawing his bow, firing his arrows, eliminated in a short time the 14,000 Rakshasas. They were strewn across the landside, killed by innumerable arrows. Alongside the dead demons lay their horses and elephants. The Devas looked down from the skies. Sounds of victory rang through the skies. The sadhus came to gratulate Lord Rama for ridding them of the plague of demons that had been a constant threat to them and their way of life. Righteousness had won out. Jai Gurudev.
Om Agnanam Timurandasya Jnanam Jana Shalakya Chakshurumilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Jagadev, after hearing from the Satsang which Swami Anashriya was talking, it's beautifully one part of the Ramayana what said Suparnaka went and called his brother. You know, they had two brothers. Which one came? Kumbhakaran or Vibhishana? Kumbhakarna. It's very interesting to see. You see, both of them, they come from demon lineage. They were both brothers of Ravana. Kumbhakarna represent that mindset, that agitated mind, which normally it is very dormant. But yet, when one is fully absorbed into their own ignorance, that mindset, that agitated mind is awake. That is Kumbhakarna. And why it is agitated? Because it is associated to Ravana. You have taken shelter to Ravana's feet. That egoistic mind, And when the mind is full with the ego, it is very agitated. Then you have the other brother, which is Vibhishana. A mind which is centered upon the divine name. In spite being from the demon tribes, being the brother of Ravana, but Ravana didn't stop him of worshipping Sri Ram. Because Ravana, in spite being cruel, but yet that mindset have a certain recognition of who Ram is. Never stopped Vibhishana of worshipping Sri Ram. Contrary to Kumbhakarna, Vibhishana have taken shelter to Sri Ram's feet under the guidance of Hanuman, the association of Hanuman. And that mind, which devotion arise, is also depend upon the association to whom you keep. And here you see clearly, both are from the same category. It's like the mind, wherever you fix the mind. You fix the mind into your pride and ego, the mind will get agitated. But if you fix the mind upon the Lord, the mind will transform itself. You started by talking about Muktinath. No? I remember when I was in Muktinath, it's not an easy journey. It was freezing cold, and we stayed in Johnson overnight, where it was freezing. There's no heating like here. And the next day, early morning, we drove. First we have to walk a long way, about 2.5 kilometers. We walk. And it's true, in the Gandakya river, each stone is Saligram itself. And we were walking. I have seen many kind of saligram, and the biggest saligram I have seen from down, from here to here, was one huge round saligram. I wanted to buy it. But the problem is how to bring it. So we went to Jongsong, we went to Muktinath, had darshan of Shamanarayana there. And of course, like you said, the tirth is very nice. We will walk in this cold 108 fountain. But it's very interesting, you know. You see, you have to bear in mind, the tirthas are very important. But tirtha, if you have not transformed yourself, if your mind is still full of its ignorance and pride, you can go to any tirtha. That will not make any effect on you. You will get cold, yes, but that will not transform yourself. You know, transformation come with the right knowledge. That's why throughout Gita, Bhagavan Krishna said, knowledge is what transforms somebody. That inquisitive mind, you know, that mind which want to be transformed, that mind which want to get to know. And that is that kind of mindset which would bring the transformation. A lazy mind will find excuses. If really by going through under 108 tirtha will grant you liberation, then all of you, what are you wasting your time being here? Go to Nepal. Go and live there. The frogs in the Ganges, if they will be liberated by this, by taking dip in the Ganges, you will be liberated. Then the frogs in the Ganges are free. All the fishes are liberated. Why are they not liberated? In spite of living in the Ganges. That doesn't liberate one. What liberates is that knowledge of the self. When one have that knowledge of the self and really transform themselves, that's what bring liberation. That's what bring that mukti itself. You can swim and bath as much as you want. That will not bring anything if you don't change your mindset. That's why Krishna throughout the Gita said, knowledge. In chapter 2, verse 55 of Bhagavad Gita, he clearly gave a description of what it is. You know, he said to Arjuna, cast all desire out of your mind. Be satisfied in the self, by the self. That is the steady wisdom. Why do you think he said that to Arjuna? When we analyze it clearly, you will see that he's talking about a steady mind. And how would the mind be steady? It is only when it is cast. All the ego have been cast out from the intellect. But if the intellect is full of ignorance, and intellect is full of their own ideas of things, you will never be free. Here he clearly shows that as one grows, one have to cast the certain things away. You can't keep on the old things and grow with it. The old ideas that you have, you can't keep it with you and thinking that you will grow with it. You have to cast it away. Otherwise the mind is contaminated. Otherwise the mind is full of its own ideas of things. It will never be free. It may sound very stupid if we just look at it like that. But a mind which is agitated, like Kumbhakarna itself, that mind can't be free. That mind which is full of desires can't be free. And Krishna said it clearly. Only when the mind is free from desires and it is satisfied in the self, by the self. That Bhagavan is not out there. First you have to find him inside of you. And knowing that he is inside of you, you have to learn to let go of things. This is the nature of human being, actually. As you grow older, you keep letting go. When you were a little child, you used to play with toys. As you grow to boyhood, you let go of the toys. Then other things become important for you. And as you let go of boyhood, you enter youthhood. You let go of all things which were important for you when you were playing with your friends. Even your friends, everything changed. You attain adulthood, that youthhood disappeared. And other things matter for you. Work, jobs, and running after life. As adulthood disappeared, make way to old age, then you let go of everything else. You see, throughout life itself have taught you. One, keep letting go to be able to move forward. If one doesn't let go, one doesn't grow. One stay the same. One enter into the idiotic state. And to that state, one doesn't grow. So one, in that verse it said, but as life carries on, you have to learn to transform yourself. You have to learn to let go of every hindrance that's stopping you. But that doesn't mean that you become empty. No, it said be absorbed into the self. Be absorbed into the divine inside of you. When you are absorbed into the divine inside of you, bliss is awakened. That bliss state, it combusts everything else. That love combusts everything else. And into that state, truly, one should be. Do you have any question? No question? Okay, Jai Gurudev.
Jai Gurudev. So in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says to Arjuna that his enemies have been already slain, and that Arjuna just needs to do his duty. If he's not doing it, someone else will do it. And my question is, how to recognize those situations and opportunities in our life where God and Guru has prepared for us something in order not to miss anything.
Your question is a bit stupid. Because you have said it, yourself. If you know that Guru have prepared you, then there is no point in asking any question about your dharma. If you keep asking about being at the feet of the Sadguru, you keep asking, what is my dharma, what is my dharma? What the use of that Guru then? What is the duty of the master? Is to bring each one to their dharma, na? So if you're sitting there at the feet of the master, yet you still keep asking, what is my dharma? How will I recognize my dharma? But then what do you think the Guru is doing? This is the point. People think that, yes, they are doing great things with their life, They are doing great duty they are doing. But in reality, what the Master have set upon, the Master have been guiding the devotee what they have to do. You just need to recognize the hand of the Master in everything. And how you will recognize the hand of the Master? It's only by the mind being calm and observe. You can recognize the trail of the Master only when you know the teaching of your Master. If you don't know the teaching of your Master, you will not recognize the trail of the Master in everything. And people which have that kind of question, they don't recognize yet the trail of the Master into what the Master have been guiding them, into what God have been guiding them. They still keep searching. You see, everything have its purpose, It may appear as something really without any meaning for you wise people, But in even the most simplest meaning, the Master finds something. Once, Lord Buddha randomly went to a town. As he entered the town, a small girl was running quickly, and he saw him. He said, "Are you Gautam Buddha?" He said, "Yes, I am." He said, "Please, I know you are here for a discourse, but please don't start without me." Small girl, 13 years old. Said, "I have to go to the farm and bring the food for my father, and I will come straight away. Please wait for me." And the Buddha said, "Yes, I'll wait for you." So she ran her way to the farm, and Buddha went to the town. All the very high dignitary people were there. All the important people was already assembled, ready to hear what he have to say about his satsang. But Lord Buddha was sitting and waiting. And he kept looking back if the little girl is coming. So the one who organized said, "What are you doing? Everybody is here. All the honorable people are here. already. Start your discourse. He said, we have to wait a little bit more. So after some time, the little girl came running and they said, thank you for waiting for me. So the discourse carries on. Everybody was happy. At the end of the discourse, the little girl approached Lord Buddha and request for initiation into meditation. I said, I know you have come here for me, because since the day I've heard your name, I was 5 years old, there was a pull towards you. I didn't know who you are, but just by hearing of your name, I know that I belong to you. Please take me with you. And Lord Buddha said, yes, my dear child. I have come for you. I have walked a long distance and I have come for you. So, seeing that, he initiated her. In the whole town, which had like 2,000 people listening to his discourse, not a single person really took initiation. Only that little girl took initiation. At night when they were retired, Anand, which is one of the foremost disciples of Buddha, asked him, tell me, before you go to bed, you have come to this town just for that little girl. And Lord Buddha said, yes, I have come only for this little girl to this town. He said, why? Only for one person. He said, well, you see, this is what Master wait. Master wait until there is a strong pull. The Master doesn't move to a certain place. When that pull is strong enough, automatically the Master is pulled towards to do that journey. At the same time, the devotees also is pulled to come toward the Master. So this is how it is, you see. When you are on the spiritual path, God have put you on the path to get to know about your Master, your Guru. The duty of the Guru is to bring you to yourself. Bring you to who you are truly in essence. And that is the work of the Master. Not later on when the Master is dead, then you go and throw yourself on the tomb of the Master, crying, oh help me, make me realize. It's useless completely. And this is what many do. Later they look for solution. When the solution was always with them, they could not appreciate it. So the duty of the Master is to always guide. Guide you to be who you are. Guide you to become who you are meant to be. But like it is said, you give your hand, that those who hold to the child have to learn to hold the hand also. If the child let go of the hand, start running and fall down, they will have to learn differently. So the question that you ask is not that you should recognize that. The question is that you should learn to accept what God have given you. If you can't accept what God has given you, do you think He will guide you to your dharma? No, He will never guide you to dharma. Everything comes first with an acceptance. The moment you accept, that journey starts. Because you have accepted, that's why you are here. Then don't worry about that. Your dharma, your dharma. You have taken shelter to the Supreme Lord, you know. Look at all the great saints. Look at them. Do you think they were asking this question, what is my dharma, what is my dharma? Or they accept life, they accept whatever, wherever God is guiding them, whatever God have been giving to them. Isn't it like that? They were in complete acceptance of His will. They were not saying, now that I'm singing the name of Vitthal, I should renounce everything and really stop all my duty. Zanabai didn't let go of her job. She was serving Namdev Maharaj with utmost joy and happiness, with utmost love. In spite, Vitthal was there. Even Bhagwan himself came in disguise. Once she was so in a hurry that she forgot to prepare the prayer place for Namdev. And she took the clothes, rushed towards the river to wash the clothes. And in the middle of the road, she remembered, oops, I forgot to prepare for the prayer of Namdev. For sure he will be upset. For sure he will start looking for things. So she felt guilty. At that moment, Bhagwan came in the form of an old lady and said, where are you running, Zana? Give me this clothes. I will go and wash it. You go and help Namdev Maharaj. So she took the clothes. The first she refused, said, no, how can I give you the clothes? But the old lady, just by force, pulled all the clothes from Dana. I said, you go, I will wash the clothes. So she took the clothes and went to the river and washed it. So Dana went to Namdev. Seeing Dana in a very perspiring state, he asked, why are you in such a state? He said, I was going to the river and then I remember I forgot to help you. And then there was this old lady who came and took by force all the clothes and went to wash. So Namdev could start smiling. Namdev said, do you know who it was? It was Vitthal himself who have come. So, that's it. Truly. Now I have made Vitthal wash all the clothes. I have let Vitthal, when he went there, looking, all the clothes were there. The lady was not there. All was very well ironed, and all the clothes was well washed nicely. So you see, when one do one duty with full devotion, Bhagwan will guide one, and Bhagwan will assist one in doing one dharma. There is no set case of dharma, this is my dharma, you have to do this. No, of course, if you get to know that, it's fine. But learn to accept your day-to-day life, what God have given you. That is your dharma. And enjoy it as if you're serving Him. Enjoy every moment, whatever you're doing, thinking that you're serving, you have the opportunity to serve Krishna. Don't think that one have other duties, you know, we all have to have the same kind of duty. If everybody become doctor, who will become the patients? So everybody is guided to where they have to do. Jai Gurudev.